Hi, Mike German here from Visual Animation. I hope you are all well. Now, today I'm going to talk about volume modeling using simple, like mesh primitive objects. So we're looking at cubes and what have we got in here? Let's just have a look. We've got cubes and capsules and spheres, cylinders, yeah, all of that basically we're going to use, and we're going to use volume meshing, and we're going to create some really nice kind of objects, a little bit like you see on the screen here. So if I just show you this close up, we've got these panels which look like they've been manufactured, and you've got these pieces that have been put in, you know, a little bit like a hi-fi, you know, with the speakers and these nice grills here, look. But this is all done with volume building, meshing, using these primitive meshed shapes. Okay, so I've got a few examples here that I've just been having a few experiments really with what we can do with these shapes. So we've got that, and I've even got a little light that I've turned on. So if we render that, we can emit light from certain parts of the shapes that we make. Obviously there's a few more lights needed for that scene, but that's just to show you again, very similar modeling techniques used here. Look, where we've got pieces cut out of mesh, which is nice, and infill pieces, and then another one I did, which is this odd looking machine, which is like it actually had some pyro turned into like a liquid gel, which I will show you in another video how I do that. But that's another way of using these models and meshes to create these kind of odd objects really, which would take a long time to build without using this method, you know, to get these intersections and these different pieces added in. So let's make a new one. Okay, let's start from a completely new scene. Let's have a sip of coffee because there's going to be a lot of talking to do here. So let's grab some of these meshes so we can start building these shapes. So let's have a look. What should we have? Let's start with my favorite. Let's get a capsule on the screen. Let's just make it a bit taller. And let's go into around shading lines as well, because I just want to make sure that we've got enough geometry on here. So let's do rotation segments around 40. Let's get a few more height segments in like that, and then a few more on the cap. So we've got that kind of even geometry on the shape. Right, so we start off the capsule. Let's add a tube into there. Okay, and let's do the same thing. Let's put 40 on there. Let's get a kind of an even look to that, and also on the top let's add a few more there, just so we get a shape. That's similar geometry across all planes. Right, let's spin that round into the Z axis there, and let's just manually use these. I love using these little yellow dots, much easier than typing it all in here. I like to do things sort of manual on the screen. So what I'm going to do is just going to put that through there like that, and then the inner radius, let's just pull that in like that. So we've got something like that that intersects that shape. Right. That out. What else can we have? We need a sphere, because we're going to be cutting. We can use the sphere to cut sections out of here, right? So again, let's bring up the resolution. Let's put it into a hexahedron. This one is going to be used to cut out pieces, right? So I'm going to leave that there for now, and I'm also going to grab a cube. Now we don't need much geometry on this, because I'm going to use this to make these grill cutouts. Let's just go back to this previous model and I'll show you these, where we've got these cutout areas here. I'm going to be using this cube to do that, so we don't really need much geometry there because it's going to be very thin. So let's just put that in position, and to get a grill effect here, what I do is I'll put it in a cloner. So if we hold Alt down, press cloner, that'll make the cube a child of the cloner. We then want to go into linear mode, and then let's add, I don't know, 5, and then let's bring the gap down between them to about there. Okay, so I think you can see already how we're going to get this to be a nice grill effect adding into there. Right, so these are our primitive meshed shapes, objects. To get this to work, we need to put all of this into a volume builder. Okay, so volume builder, and then you drag all of these as a child of the builder. Okay, now it looks like a pixel mess right now. That's because we need to change the builder's voxel size to 0.5. Okay, think of this as 3D pixels. The smaller the number here, the sharper the image is going to be. Okay, so that is in there. Let's also grab a mesher while we're here, because all this will need to go into a mesher so it can be rendered. Okay, let's put that back to ground shading lines. So we've got everything in place. We now need to have a look here where it says, so basically if you click on volume builder, these objects are now in the builder. We have the cloner, which is this one with all the grill, what we're going to turn into a grill, the sphere, the tube and the capsule. They're all in there in that order. Now this, depending on how we subtract, union or intersect these objects together, it matters on the order they're placed here in the hierarchy. Okay, so what we really need is the one that is not being affected at the bottom. So the one that's not going to be used to affect other objects is going to be this main capsule, which is actually at the bottom. And then I think we've actually got the right order here. So I'll explain why. So if we go to cloner, where it says union, if we click on that and say subtract, because we don't want these to stick out like that, we want these to subtract away from this material here, don't we? So we go subtract, and then it cuts in. So a bit like a boolean, you know, it'll cut into the object there. Now we want to do the same for the sphere. We want to click on it and go subtract, and that cuts out there. Now, as I was just saying, this order matters. So say for example we had this tube at the top, so let's drag it to the top. You see, it's not looking at that now, it's not cutting it, because it needs to be underneath in that right hierarchy of that stacking order, right? So things that you're using to subtract need to be on top, things that are the main objects, the unioned objects, can be below. Okay, so as long as the tube is below these subtracted objects, it will cut it out. Okay, so you've now got this sphere that's cutting out this lovely, you know, like piece out of the side of this this odd looking tool or whatever we're making here, some kind of like futuristic speaker, smart speaker of the future. So that's what we've got. Now, where things get interesting is how we layer this up, because at the moment that's not looking too good. You know, we've started to get some idea of what's going to happen here, but it needs to look better than this, right? So how do we do that? Right, if we just collapse mesher like that, and then we copy that again, so hold down control, make a copy of it, so that we've now got another volume mesher over the top of the other one with exactly the same things in it underneath the builder. So in here, what we can do is say, right, that sphere that was cutting out, subtracting from that, if we go on to that and say we want to intersect that sphere with this, that happens. Okay, now what we need to do here as well, sorry, is just to add, we need to add a smoother in here. We haven't got the smoother in the top there, so that needs to go to the top. And if we go back to the other one as well, yeah, let's add a smoother. It makes a big difference to the look and the feel of the finished article. You see that already? We've got these really nice pieces just by layering up two volume meshed sections, right? So we haven't made any more, we've just done our original items here. We haven't changed the order, we haven't done anything with them, we've just looked at having the sphere, I can never say sphere properly, can I? Looking at how the sphere intersects now. It doesn't have a union, as you would get it stuck on the side because it's been added to. That's what union is, it's adding, isn't it? So what we're saying is we're not subtracting, because that would cut the hole out again. We're going to intersect between the two, so it's looking at both states and overlaying them, and you're getting that, which is really nice. So you've now got this piece. So here you could call this like circle, I can say circular, just circle piece or section. Okay, and then if you take these arrows though, you can drag that away, and it's actually made this part that is just lovely. I mean, it'd take ages to model all this, wouldn't it? But now you've got a part of a machine, really. I don't know, a vacuum cleaner, where you can take sections apart and show what's happening inside. It's that kind of idea. Or we can just use it for just some really nice art, like some futuristic sci-fi art, which is what we're going to be doing on this model today. So that is how we get this to look right. So in the grill, for example, we've got that. And if we look at my previous example, what I've got here is I've got a grill here, look, that goes in between these sections. Okay, so how do we do that? Let's just go back to the one we're working on and I'll show you. Excuse me. Right, so let's just have a look at the distance here originally. Let's have a look at this cube, and so let's increase the size of that cube. Not that much. Let's do it manually. Let's put in about 4, maybe a bit more. Let's go 6, and then let's spread them out a little bit as well. Let's go about 15, spread them out. Okay, let's just bring the whole thing down. The reason I'm doing this is I want to add some other pieces in between these, okay, which are going to be the grill, like the speaker grills. These are going to be like the metal parts, and then we're going to have the grill pieces inside. Excuse me, I hope I don't get another cough. I seem to get coughs when I start doing these videos. Okay, so to make the grill part, we need to make another copy of these meshes. So we start with the original mesher, and we do control copy. Let's put that down the bottom in order, and let's call that grill. Excuse me. Right, so what we do is we click on grill and we go to volume builder, and now what we want to do with this cloner, it's set to subtract. Okay, so go and close and show what's going to happen here. We want to change this to intersect. So that happens, okay? So it actually intersects those pieces and fills in. Okay, so that is, now we can keep adding loads and loads of sections to this. We can just keep overlaying and overlaying all the time, and adding and intersecting and just building this however you want. Okay, I just wanted to show you the technique here is how you overlay different areas, different sections of meshes, and then change between unions, subtract and intersect to get these really nice shapes. So let's just quickly, I don't want this video to go on a long time, so I just want to show you how we grab some nice materials now. So if we go to the asset browser and we type in grill, there is our speaker grill. So let's just double click on that, download it. And now where it says grill on here, we can just drag that straight onto grill. Now obviously at the moment it's too big, so the projection type is cubic, and the length I would bring that down to 10 and the width 10. Right, so you get this nice grill in there. Look. Okay, so we've got the grill in there, and then it's really just a matter of what colours and materials you would like here. But if, say, I don't know, let's go for something like leather. Yeah, let's take this nice textured leather effect here, look, and let's drag that onto here. Okay, and let's also change that projection type to cubic. And the length, let's get that down to, I don't know, 20 by 20. So if we go in nice and close there, look, really nice textures on there. Haven't even got the lights on yet, but you can see just the standard light that's being used. That is going to give us some really nice effects. And now this panel, just for an interest, something different, we could put, I don't know, let's put in, if you type in a colour that you want under materials, it will bring up all the colours for that thing. So let's just put in green. And now it shows you grass and plastic and shiny objects here. So let's put in a green plastic. And then we just drag it onto what we want, you see. And let's change that projection type again to cubic. And there we have a very interesting, that could be made even more interesting with more sections added. Okay, you can just keep going around adding bits to this. But that's really what I want to show you. And then let's just add a light to that. Let's just put in an area light. Let's just lift that up, spin it over. Let's lift that up like that. Let's give it a bit of light and a little area shadow on there. Let's just see if that gives us. Okay, so that's just with one light. Probably want a few more lights. Let's just put another one in because I want to try and light this grill up a little bit. That needs a little bit of light on there, doesn't it? So let's just bring that over there. Let's see if that's done it enough. I mean, you can play about with the lights much longer than this. No, it's not quite worked, has it? So let's just put in an infinite light in, and let's see if that just helps to brighten the scene a little. There we go. So obviously you can change around all of the lighting and get the lighting looking really nice. Obviously this is just for speed really, but I think you'll agree, just by adding a few objects together and layering them up, we can get these really, really nice looking models without any kind of modeling knowledge at all. Yeah, that was all. I am going to do another one where I explain how pyro gel and different things to do with pyro work with these objects. You know, like we can use them as dispensers or little gel guns, all that kind of weird stuff. But I've just been messing around with that, you know, using pyro with these volumes and using pyros in volumes as well. So I hope that's been useful. Please leave comments below, give me a like, give me a subscribe, all that good stuff, and then I'll continue making these videos for you. My name is Mike German from Visual Animation. Take care. Goodbye for now.